Hey, it worked.
I am the
Well done.
greatest.
All right. Well, welcome to your weekly dose of humility with the Aladdin Community Call here, Wednesday, February 28th, 2024.
It sure is.
It's just going to be a whole lot of gloating.
It is going to be
Yeah.
a whole lot of gloating. I mean, which is
there's
not.
a lot of. It's just touchdown dances the entire time.
Exactly.
Mine looks like the Ace Ventura one with the with the tutu.
That's right, man. And hey, you can do whatever you want in terms of your celebration because I think Aladdin has earned it.
I
need
will.
My permission. Well, in case folks don't know, you should know because we've got FXUSD out in the world now.
It is in the world. It is alive, and things are happening.
You know, I have to say, it's always interesting watching sort of like Aladdin products launch, because especially like FX, like they're all kind of different and everything, and they're all pretty smooth, but to see sort of like the seed event, like 1 minute, bang, okay, or let's do this, and it was like, holy moly, you know, it's always really cool to see stuff like that. I thought it was going to last 10 minutes, but
damn it, yeah. I honestly, when you told me 10 minutes, I thought that was even aggressive, and I'm like, wow, really 10 minutes? But you were right. You were right. I was thinking like a half an hour, maybe an hour, but nope.
I was hoping for a half an hour to see if I could get a gas dip, and that didn't happen. You can't.
Yeah, I didn't. Guys, I didn't even know that it was working. I was like on my phone. I couldn't see like the Ethereum coming in, so I just kept tweeting. And then I went into the Discord and I'm like, did it work? Because I don't see anything. And they're like, no, it's done. And I'm like, what do you mean it's done? It just happened. And I couldn't even see it. So it was just, anyway, it was crazy.
Exactly.
Day.
I mean, this is a part of the thing with Aladdin. I think that really this dark horse effect is that like the Discord's not full of moon boys. Like that's not the way we run things, right? It's
no.
So what ends up happening is like there's just a lot of like serious players that are just ready to go when the time comes, and then it happens and it executes, and people are sort of.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of mobilization yesterday. There was definitely good mobilization. Everybody kind of moved, and everybody was in sync, and it was a good day.
Yeah,
it was definitely.
And speaking like that was some quality work on Twitter, on X. Sorry, X. My apologies, Lord Elon.
Yeah, and those memes were powerful. Thanks to Meta, he did a great job on some of those things. And I had that idea with the whole moon launch thing and the theme.
Yeah, I like that. There was a good vibe. It was a good vibe.
Yeah.
Meta kept the. I think it was a good choice on the memes for Meta. He's got such a toolkit.
Yeah,
that is putting it so politely.
That was one of the best memes I think I've ever seen him make. Honestly, that like aggregation of all of the memes in one shot, and then having a launch sequence. Like I was like, Meta, you need to put the launch sequence here. Let me send you the video, and he just like added the audio in, and oh man, it was awesome.
Yeah,
just awesome.
Way to go, Meta.
Well done, sir.
Golf clap. Shoot, I don't have my board.
Yeah,
I don't have it at the ready.
Anyway, it's a golf clap for Meta. It's a golf clap for CryptoVestor. Way to go, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. So what are we going to discuss today? So what's the plan? What's next?
Well, okay. So King, let's kick us off here.
Yeah. So the seed event's done. It's closed. We've been minting and redeeming of FXUSDs live. So I mean, people can go and mint it as they so choose. So
exactly. And that was, remember, just again, context for people who are tuning in or listening later. So the seed event, the purpose of the seed event is to get a bunch of ETH into the reserve quickly prior to switching on FXUSD open minting. So remember, people who were in the seed vault had to take a 50-50 split of X and like the stable and the leverage mixed together. And the idea was there's going to be like those people get some incentives over the next week, assuming they stay depositive. They get a layer of incentives. They do not earn anything in the rebalance pools, though, by the way. But as soon as FXUSD is initialized, which happened yesterday, now the full anybody can enter and exit through individual tokens in exactly the way that you expect, just like with FETH and XETH. So the seeding event is over. It's happened, and it is currently doing its job. And for the purpose of the rest of us, we don't need to worry about that anymore. Now it's full steam ahead on the actual mechanism. It's rolling, and the big important announcement, I mean, that people should know by now, but maybe they don't, is that in just a few hours at 0 UTC, the FXN emissions are going to begin. And for the first 2 weeks, the FXN emissions are divided up sort of. There's like a fixed set of emissions that will carry us through to the very first VE FXN gauge vote. But because those emissions are kicking off starting on Thursday, and you can actually see what those are going to look like if you go to the FFX website. You can see on the gauge vote page exactly what those emissions look like to each one of those pools. It's going to be it's a huge kickoff to the farming game of in the rebalance pools, and also in a handful of LP like LP pools of pool 2s, right? Right, K-Mats?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Apologies there. I got
that was the
distracted.
segue.
Yeah, and man, let me tell you, we have lined up some of these some LP gauge votes here. Like we've been
And
sending
who
out
knows why? Who knows? Like, we're not really saying why they're important, but they're important, guys.
Yeah,
We're
I would hope everyone here has enough brain power to kind of like make that assumption. But we've been sending out a stream of tweets, that basically shows where you can vote for
Support.
these gauges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just to be clear, what these gauges are that we're pushing it, where these votes are, is to turn on curve incentives to these pairs.
Yes, exactly. Well, they're going to be double gauges, right? I mean,
Exactly. And this is what we're looking at, because we're getting these curve LP gauges set up, and then the way that, as I mentioned last week, but I'll call it out again, the way that it works on FFX is that you actually can double stake. That is, your stake on curve, which will be handled through Convex, you bring that and stake that on FFX, and so you'll be able to earn FFX incentives as well as the curve incentives all together. And what that enables on our end for the protocol is a really slick way to do co-incentive. So not that I'm announcing anything specific here, but like this is a tool now in the kit of FFX, and sort of the Aladdin ecosystem in general, is that we can sort of we can work with protocols in a bunch of different ways now, because emissions to curve can be added together with emissions on FFX. And however those emissions are sort of, those are both emissions on both sides are ultimately determined by the vote escrow holders, right? VE curve on the curve side, VE FXN on the FFX side. But because you can get them both at the same time, there's a lot of really interesting sort of BD type partnerships that can happen there. So that's coming. But like step number one is that all of those pairs need to have gauge votes on curve to begin with. And so we're pushing through a bunch of them. And what why don't you rattle it off, K-Mats?
yeah.
What's our list?
So we've got CRV USD FXUSD, PYUSD FXUSD.
PayPal. Okay.
That's right. Frax
Interesting.
FXUSD.
Huh.
We've got GRI FXUSD. That is oh my gosh, yeah. We've got DOLA FXUSD. We've got Go FXUSD. So I mean, like, it is just like
It's a
What a
Right.
launch, guys.
It's a line.
It's like every major stablecoin.
it's a who's who of stable coins.
And so we get these gauges.
Unbelievable.
We get these gauges up and running on the curve side, and then we integrate those on the FFX side. And then there's essentially the question is, where are the where are the emissions going to come from, right? And so once you get this double gauge structure set up, they can come from votes on either side.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is the beginning, right? I mean, there's going to be so many more coming. So I mean, and this is just kind of one of those deals where it's like we're all now going to have to like kind of pay attention to the governance votes pretty closely now, because these are going to be coming through. We're going to need folks to support us to
That's
to
right.
get these
Well,
changes through.
and once we get those through, then it's going to be time to start paying attention to other governance votes, which is the VEFXN voting. So that gauge voting is going to go live on the 14th of March. Like I said, we have like a fixed emission schedule to bridge us to that March 14th. And once we hit March 14th, then gauge voting goes live. And without being specific, we have details to come later, but there's going to be bribing options for FXN emissions.
Yeah, so that is in the works. We're cooking. And so I mean, it's everything's coming together really fast.
It is.
So,
and I want to, so if it's not clear by now, there has been a tremendous amount of BD work behind the scenes, and I think K-Mets, I think we got to do a big shout out to Paul and to Charlene, who have been working their tails off, just like pounding the pavement. And again, this is just on the internal team side, because obviously there's a ton of people in terms of boosters and A team and external, like everybody, lots of people on the call right now too. Not to take anything away from anybody else, but holy cow, certainly behind the scenes, in the secret, shadowy, smoke-filled rooms of the Aladdin Discord.
Well, yeah,
core team.
Both of them are so humble. They don't want to toot their own horns, but I mean, obviously, they have just, worked so hard and have put together these partnerships with these. I mean, just like CryptoVestor said, they're it's like tier 1 stable coins. Like, I mean, right off the bat, and especially for a brand new protocol with this new, kind of like mechanism. Like, but everyone understands and sees the promise in it, and so that is just sort of a stamp of almost like a certification, you could almost say, in terms of DeFi. Like, yeah, you guys we're somebody that sees what can happen here, and we want to be a part of it. So kudos to them. Kudos to you, CryptoVestor, and to Cyril, who've also helped in assembling these partnerships and getting folks on board. And it's, I mean, we can't do it without the help of the community and the tireless efforts of Charlene and Paul as well. I mean, it takes everybody.
Yeah, it's a group effort. Everybody's done a really great job. I really think that everybody's worked really hard. I appreciate everything that Cyril's done too. He's brought a lot of different protocols to the table. I will say this, I don't know if it's alpha because we've already created the pool, but after speaking with the guys at Trident, they want to win that war with the FXN war. So they're going to be heavily incentivizing their pool. So watch for that, because they don't want to let those other stable coins win.
All right. Well, I tell
that's
you
what we want to hear.
Yeah, that is. I support them in their efforts.
Yeah. So do I, sir. So do I. But just letting you know that they're internally thinking, we want to win this war. So it's going to be a fun game to watch, especially as it starts on Thursday. Well, in a few hours, right? Actually.
Yeah, exactly. So the emissions will be kicking off here at 000 UTC. So
yeah, and let's see. Can we drop like a? There's the projected emissions right now. I mean, because the deposits haven't started yet. They're looking pretty juicy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an attractive place to be in this bull market here is FX. I just on both sides, right? Just in terms of the rebalance pool farming and just the X tokens. It is Talk about being in the right place at the right time with the right folks, and the right tools.
Well, and I'll tell you, I've been enjoying being an XETH holder a lot more as the number goes up than I was before. So
Same here. Much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was always kind of like when we first launched and everybody like piled in, and then the number went down, and it was like, well, everybody piled in, and so the leverage went down, and so now we're moving up a little bit slower than how we
That's
moved up.
right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I know-
it's
Yeah.
all of these things, they all normalize in the long run, but right at the moment after launch, when you're paying the most attention, it's unfortunate to have that just like, you know, just that like coincidence of effects that kind of like just don't give you the best feeling right off the bat, and it's like, well, crap. It's all behind us now, though, as we rocket. I don't know.
That's right. We found our sailing legs, sir. We
That's
have
right,
found
yeah.
our sailing legs. We're gonna ride this thing all the way. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
looking great. Looking
Sorry,
great.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just everything's going smoothly, and I think we're perfectly positioned to be one of the stars of the bull market here. So
I hope so.
I'm very excited to be a part of
I
it.
hope so. So, okay, we've talked about, you know, hooray, USD is launched. We've talked about emissions starting at zero UST in just a handful of hours now. It's going to be time to start farming FXN, and so it's going to be like, get your rebalance pool deposits in. Remember, all of those all the seed round people are not in the rebalance pool, so you are not competing with a lot of the TVL in the protocol to kick off. So it's going to be pretty darn attractive APRs in the rebalance pools, and then also keep in mind that as incentives flow to LP gauges as well, and that pulls FXUSD out, FXUSD being in the world also drains it from the rebalance pools, which then pump up rebalance pool yields. So I strongly recommend everybody to keep a close eye on how those on how those yields look, and on how the mechanism is all going to work once we get emissions flowing, and then especially later once we start to see the organic like fight for FXN emissions that kicks off on March 14th. There's going to be a lot to track, and I do recommend everybody pay close attention, because I think there are going to be some pretty good opportunities for folks who are watching closely if you're paying attention.
That's right. Yeah. There's going to be lots of fireworks. Okay.
Next up, let's jump to this guy here. So the 1000 FXN bonus period, the farming period in the FE3 balance pool, is also ending at 0 UTC, and so starting tomorrow, we're going to see the airdrop numbers will be posted, and in the same way that we always do. I say airdrop, the allocation of that 1000 FXN for the people who are farming in the during the bonus event. And so we're going to do that the way that we do all of these like vested token releases, which is that if you head over to the website and you check out the vesting page, you will see your allocation, and for a 24-hour period, it is changeable. So if there's any mistake, if you have run your own numbers and what you see there isn't what you expect or whatever, there's a 24-hour window where people can check the numbers that they are seeing before those tokens get locked in the vesting contract and the vesting begins, after which point we no longer have the power to make adjustments, to make changes.
Yeah. So just everybody just kind of keep your eyes out for that, because that's going to be, kind of important to pay attention to.
Yep, and we'll get a tweet out once the final numbers have been calculated and pushed to the contract where people can see them online, and as I say, 24 hours to double check that everything looks good for you, and then the actual vesting kicks off.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's
right.
that. We can say goodbye to the FX bonus seasons, and and welcome in the gauge emissions. So
Yeah,
smooth transition.
absolutely. That's gonna be fun.
All right. Let's see what's next on the agenda here. Oh, you know what? We've got a booster round going, man. It is. There are plenty of ways to get involved in governance here for Aladdin. Oh, what's this here?
Oh, this is just a screenshot I thought I'd drop in here. This is a projected rebalance pool APRs once emissions kick off. We're going from a current emission rate of 0 to an emission rate of very much not 0. And so
yeah, so if you're listening to this later in the recording and you can't see the comments, it basically in the thousands of APR percent at the moment.
Well, yes, so. because there's deposits aren't in the rebalance pool yet. So, but yeah, it's big and it's juicy, and as usual, there's benefits to being the first one in the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
To being early, as we all are.
That's right, we are early, and be early with your booster voting. There you go. Ooh,
hey, good segue.
Yeah, I tried. So yeah, so the booster round's live. It's going on. I think you're going to want to, if you have like VE Clev, I think that might be the first one to close. So I would recommend everybody go, if you have VE Clev, to go vote in the booster round. And then the others, they're posted in the announcement, so you can go and see when they close. I don't have them all handy at the moment, but obviously it's XALD, VEFXN, VLCVX, SDFXN. Yeah, and I think
and Clev, yeah, and obviously like this is, you know, the booster emissions going out right exactly at the time when we need maximum boosting is not a mistake. So as always, it's a great idea to really like find the people who are doing the best job of getting the word out, you know, making great content, but also, I mean, the reach is important too, right? And so just, you know, if we collectively can really like get alignment with the people who are the strongest message senders, message deliverers, you know, spokespeople, advocates, let's get those people some FXN tokens, and really kind of like we want to get more people in the tent, right? The tent is going to be getting a lot bigger, and if we want it to grow fast, we need people in here who are aligned and excited. So this is the booster program is one big way that we have to do that. So let's exercise our voting power and make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, lots of ways to go and vote depending on sort of the tokens that you hold. And so please go check that out in the announcements and get out there and make your voice heard.
Rock the vote.
So support those who support FX, right? Exactly.
Or as they might say, help me to help you.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, there you go.
And I think one more thing. You've got something written here that I didn't. What's this? What's this item here on our agenda?
So as folks know, or as you're learning at this very moment, XETH is on Ajnafy, and Ajnafy is a lending market. It's a really cool one. It's like totally permissionless. They have like no governance. It's very much sort of in the vein of Liquidity in terms of just it is a pure protocol, and it's got FXN on there, FETH, XETH. And it's just a series of contracts, and so various entities will spin up front ends, and they'll make a little fee on some bonus features or whatever they put on the front ends. And one of those front ends is Summerfi, and Summerfi has now listed XETH ETH as a lending pair. So, and I believe it has a looping feature as well on Summerfi, which is really pretty cool. So.
Whoa.
If you weren't bullish enough on this market with just XETH, go on over to Summerfi and Summer.fi and go borrow against your XETH. So and it's a really nice laid out website, and they've done a really good job with it. And you know, as we learned with the juiced vaults, those are run by Yearn. So and Yearn's been really fabulous to work with. But yeah, go check that out. You're going to see a lot more integrations with stuff like this.
That is cool. I mean, and it's like K-Metz always says, there is no such thing as too much leverage.
I say that? Have I said that?
Maybe I might be paraphrasing you.
Well, there's definitely not too much X ETH that you can take on.
Exactly. And there really is no such thing as too many places to use your X ETH.
I would agree with that. Yes. I'm gonna dial back whatever falsehoods I've said before.
I'm so excited about this, and actually, it becomes it. We've talked about this before, but it highlights really the composability aspect that is so important here. And the lower down the stack, I mean, I joke because, you know, XETH is like a in terms of like the spectrum of leverage space. XETH is not your 100x kind of degen max leverage, but when you can integrate XETH on forward, you can really expand the possibilities of it so much. And by having I'm not sure if I can explain what I'm trying to think really well, but like the lower the level at which you can integrate this like really, really powerful, solid, if not gigantic leverage, the more you can integrate that at a lower level, the more possibilities that you have for the second level, right? Like you don't necessarily have to take on the same nature of risks that you would in like a perp position in order to be able to still get that leverage and then move forward and be able to deploy it elsewhere, you know, lending contracts and you know, sort of DeFi in general. The sky's the limit there. So, you know, seeing these integrations start to pop up and start to actually exploit the composability of XETH and of the like underlying mechanisms is just awesome.
Yeah, I think you know, every time we've like talked with a LSD protocol, this is like one of those things that's sort of like, you know, is eye popping to them, you know, and the rebalance pools, and obviously that's what makes FX so attractive. And I think it's kind of a no-brainer in this market. And then you know, as we start to see these integrations with these lending protocols, you start to begin to see how XETH is useful in, you know, future bear markets and whatnot, and how it can be utilized as to short ETH. And so, I mean, as you can see, I mean, it's, even though it's always perpetually long, it's useful in all markets. It just depends on how it's integrated. And I think, you know, it's the possibilities are like endless. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff I can't even dream of that it could be involved with. So just, you know, I'm just happy to be here.
You were going great, and then you got a bit of a speed wobble, and then yeah, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those deals where you just sit there and you're just like, man, what I still just marvel at FX. You know, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, this is unbelievable that I get to be here with all these cool friends, and we get to work on this. This is so fun.
Well, we're glad to have you too, K-Metz.
Thanks, man.
But let's not you know, diverge into hugs and kumbaya here. Let's keep it rolling. Although I have to say, this is it. Like this is the majority of the stuff that we have to talk about. This was an FFX week, and it was a huge week. We wanted to make sure we queued up stuff going forward. And again, for Charlene to hear me say it, want to make sure everybody is aware. FXN emissions kicking off in less than a day, in hours, in a number of hours. Get your rebalance pool deposits ready, because you're gonna want to be in there when the taps open up. So,
quick question, Kruger. I about that. Did we agree on? I didn't really check the interface because I thought it was updated so many times. Did we agree on making it so that it automatically stakes when you choose a rebalance pool? If you're coming in with USDC or ETH or something like that, or did we make it so that it goes into their wallet first and they have to go to the rebalance pool and redeposit? I don't remember how that was. fully determined at the end.
So you can it goes to the rebalance pool, and there's a toggle, I believe, in the
Oh.
minting
Right.
page. Correct me if I'm wrong here,
But
Charlene.
but I just don't remember if it's auto like defaulted to
It's
deposit
defaulted to the rebalance pool. That's right.
Okay. That's important. Okay. Perfect.
You have to pick which rebalance pool you want to go to. So there's a drop down box and you see 4 options. Just pick one
Right.
of them.
Right. Okay. So, but I remember we were talking about how maybe some people would be confused if they didn't see the FXUSD in their wallets. So I guess we all agreed that it's better to have it going into the rebalance pool, correct?
Yeah. But people can
Okay.
turn it off, right? They can turn
They
it
can
off
turn it off
they
and get
can-
it into their wallet. Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I understood that clearly because I wanted to communicate that via tweet and I didn't want to have that wrong. Oh, thank you for the info.
Yeah, and I think that I think that we're still always open to adjustments in the UI, and
Sure.
and one of the things that we can potentially do here is maybe even just change it from deposit into rebalance pool to auto deposit into rebalance pool, and it's already pretty well highlighted here. It's in bright yellow text here, so it does stick out. It does stick out pretty well. On the on that side, but you know what? Like I say, I think that we're going to continue collecting feedback. We can try stuff as we carry on here.
Okay, and then one other thing that I don't know if you guys are aware of, but I noticed it on my phone. I don't see the deposits on the Genesis. I don't know if it's even very important anymore, but I don't see I don't see those things.
The seeding period has ended.
Okay.
So
Just wanted to make sure, 'cause
yes,
it wasn't like some kind of interface issue with my phone or anything like that. But okay,
no, it wasn't.
okay.
It wasn't an interface. It wasn't an interface issue, and we were talking about it. Chatting with people in the Discord who were asking about that. Essentially, the mechanism. We hit 500, and that was kind of like the end. But there's a delay before the multi-sig transaction goes through to kick off, right? So that's why you don't see that exact 500 and
Got
0.
it.
But by the time the multi-sig transaction executes, that kind of closes deposits there. And I tried to mention that at the top of the call, but I can call it out again now, where it's like the seeding event is closed. So that means that like this depositing into this forced pairing of F and X on the staked ETH versus the Frax ETH.
Over.
That's over, right?
Yeah.
There were the people who got in before that ended are now held outside of the rebalance pool. So all of those assets are outside of the rebalance pool. They will not be earning any rebalance funds on Thursday, but they have a separate pool of incentives that they're going to be earning over the course of the next week. So starting yesterday when that transaction went through and going for a week.
Okay. All right. We're clear. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't some other weird thing that was happening to me only, but we're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, there was even a little confusion on my part, internally for us, is because the cutoff, it was that delay between the transaction going through from the multi-sig and actually hitting the 500. So because that's why, when you see that there's more than 500 in the one side, well, there must be, it must still be ongoing, and it's just that delay that.
Okay, we're good.
We've closed the loop on that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's actually a good thing. There was a lot of demand for this. A lot of demand.
There was,
great.
but I mean, the seeding event, as we don't need to pump the tires anymore on that, because it has done its job, and it's it's a nice little it's a nice program that's going to support us for this first week. I think that the much bigger and broader news at this point in time, and not limited, right? Like not, there's no cutoff period now for just using the protocol, right? Minting your FXUSD, getting into the rebalance pools where you want to farm, getting into the LPs, all of that stuff. It's wide open.
To be clear, there's no cap right now, right? As far as FXUSD goes.
That's not entirely true. There is a 10,000 staked ETH cap and a 5,000 Frax ETH cap.
Okay, just wanted to want to get those numbers clear too. Okay,
and so you can, if you jump over, if you look at the assets page and you click FXUSD, there's a box there that shows the reserve asset value.
Got it. I see it.
And it's got the.
I got it.
Yeah, I'll just
Perfect.
for everybody else's.
I tell you what, if we hit one of those caps here in the near future, I bet you, you don't have to twist Charlene's arm too hard to raise it a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, I think she could bump it up, right? If we get a lot of interest.
Yeah, maybe if you send her something like a nice gift, maybe send her a
Yeah,
flower.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Don't worry.
You
Not
know.
sure.
I mean, obviously the
Flowers,
decision
chocolate.
goes through like all the multi-sig holders, but I mean, she can if you convince her, she can convince them. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. Just good to know that to have those numbers in mind for, communication purposes,
Absolutely.
We're good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, fair enough. And keep them coming. Like, obviously you crypto, but like everybody, if you've got any questions or issues or anything that's not clear to you or things you think we could do better, yeah, check it out. Let us know and talk about it. And we're always open for feedback.
Perfect.
I tell you, one of the things that I like a lot on the new site is the backed asset breakdown plot. It really kind of, we made a lot of these plots when we were first designing or at least I did, when we were first designing the mechanism, where you
Yeah.
can kind of visualize the difference. Here, I'll drop it into the chat here, where you can kind of see, the total bar is like the total reserve asset, and then you've got the stable portion, and then the stable portion of the reserve, and then the X portion, like the F portion and the X portion of the reserve, but that, the two of them add together to equal the total reserve. I do like visualizing it that way. That makes sense. And then obviously you see the leverage part on the top expand and contract much more quickly, but the division line between the green and the blue, it stays much more constant, right? Except for as the reserve assets grow, that line kind of grows with it. But if you hold the reserve asset stable at flat, that line stays dead flat.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's
and then one other little thing. It's a small detail on the website. I know we were talking back and forth about the wording rebalance pool. That's fine that we're keeping it, but if you look at the earn page, it says rebalance pool like 2 times on each section, and then if you click the drop down, it's actually a 3rd time. Like, I don't know how many times we need to say rebalance, but we probably should, like, it's fine if it says rebalance pool, but I don't think we need to like repeat it 3 times for each pool. Maybe we can fix that.
I only see 2.
Yeah,
Is that
I'm not
When you
seeing that.
if you click the deposit section, like if you actually go to like it's a 3rd there's like more. I just saw a screenshot of it. I can share it with you guys.
Yeah, do that. I think it might have
Or maybe
it might
it
have
was
changed. It might have changed since the last time you saw it. So check it out live on the site. I only see it twice now. We've got FXUSD rebalance pool, and then the sub is earn wrap staked ETH when staked and redeem to wrap staked ETH.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was probably fixed then.
I think it might have
probably
been.
fixed.
It might have
Okay,
been.
no thanks. Okay, good guys. That's it, I think, right? Do we have anything for Clever and Concentrator or what? Or is it an all FX call today?
I think it's mostly an FX USD call, other than to say, Clever's still rolling. We're still in the middle of the of kind of letting the dust settle on that fee reorganization. And I think we'll have more to talk about that at some point in time in the future, to kind of do retrospective and look at how that changed. On Concentrator, obviously, we're looking at getting new FXUSD pairs spun up, as it will surprise nobody at all that that new Aladdin ecosystem farming opportunities are going to be front of the line for Concentrator Vault options.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Excellent.
and what else? What else came out?
Well, I mean, the march to 150 million ALD continues for Aladdin. So I mean,
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
We're almost capped out.
Yeah, it's going to be a new era once we hit that cap, and there's no more inflation. It's going to be a new era. And then, as I've seen, there's questions in the chat earlier, and that it's still on people's mind. When is VEALD coming? It is coming. But it's one step at a time right now. We've got this hot commodity in FFX, and we need to. We're all hands on deck to get this thing off the ground. I think that the real urgent thing was getting that cap getting that 150 million cap and cutting off all new token emissions, all sort of minting at that point in time. That's the important thing to get through early, and we're sort of on the rails to do that. And then it'll be it's not going to be on the back burner for too long.
Yeah, I mean it's we're tending a small fire that we want to turn into a bonfire here with FX, and I think we're on our way. So
Sounds
Yep.
good. What were you going to say,
Yep.
Crypto?
I was going to say that we just need to focus on curating FX and FXUSD for right now, before we just focusing on other things, and then but yeah, I mean that's why all hands are on deck right now, trying to focus on that.
Absolutely. Well, and the ALD story, it's coming. It's not not forgotten. It's still at the very center of the Aladdin ecosystem. If it has been a little bit in the background for a while.
yeah. So but which is that's kind of what's really nice about these protocols is they don't need a babysitter, right? And we can kind of they've matured to the point where we can focus on FX like this, and they still operate
I think
as intended.
Maybe the message here on ALD is like your window to be able to the ALD sale. It's going to continue for a while, but not forever. So.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. Exciting times.
Well, this may be a first, K-Mets, in that we have reached the end of our agenda 10 minutes prior to the top of the to the end of the hour.
I know.
Does it mean we're getting better or worse?
Boy.
Let's say better.
Yeah.
Trick question. I was never going
yeah.
to accept worse.
Yeah. I tell you what, that's okay. We're doing well. FX is the star of the show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've hit the high points. We've hit, the booster round is starting. So not only vote, but boost. Get out there and do your stuff. Support those curve gauges. Get ready for FX and emissions coming on in just a few hours. Excuse me, 0 UTC on Thursday. I think that we have hit all the high points, and we should call it a day.
There you go. Yeah, give these people back a little bit of their time.
Yeah, take your 9 minutes now and do something wonderful with it.
Go
Thanks,
mint some
everybody,
FXUSD.
Yeah, gonna go mint FX. Exactly.
There you go.
Good thinking. Good thinking. All right. Thanks everybody for coming out.
All
and
right,
joining
thank you
us.
guys.
Right.
Really appreciate
Bye,
it. Good
everybody.
job.